Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, I'm very well. Thank you very much. How are
Ex-
you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. We are doing well. It is sunny, shiny, wonderful weather today. What about in England? How is weather? How is life in there?
Exactly the same. It's wonderful. It's blue skies. You only see the top of me, but my bottom is wearing shorts. I'm
Me-
joking. It is actually absolutely lovely. Been very,
ex-
very lucky with the weather so far. So if there has to be a lockdown, I think we'd be very lucky that the weather has played along.
So, because of lockdown, are you able to walk around or are you able to go to beach? Can you
Yeah,
walk around? Yeah.
yeah. Well, at the moment, I mean, the restrictions have been loosened, which is nice. So for us,
Hmm.
as it is going the right direction. Obviously, all members of staff from the university are not on campus at the moment. We
Okay.
are at home, so welcome to everyone who's joined to my makeshift office, which is a spare bedroom. But we do meet our colleagues on a regular basis, sort of virtually, even go to the pub virtually on a Friday. Quite interesting.
It
Um,
is.
and and we do, I mean, now we can go outside for exercise as much as we want, and spend time by the beach. So yesterday I went kayaking for the first time
Oh,
again, which is fantastic. So
excellent.
yeah, things are slowly returning back to normal.
I hope it will get much better later on, slowly, slowly. We will back to our normal life, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit Plymouth University. Could you a little bit tell us about when was established, where is the location, how far from London, for instance, and how many students do you have, undergrad, postgrad, international?
Yeah, of course. I mean, normally I would have a nice sort of map in the background, or
Yeah.
I can show you exactly where we are, but unfortunately, I can't, and I didn't really want to draw a map on my wall in our bedroom.
Next
But
time,
if
maybe.
so for those who got a map in front of them, Plymouth University, University of Plymouth, we are in the southwest of England. That is about 3 hours away from London on a very direct train line. Trains go every hour. First one, I think, something like 6 o'clock in the morning. The last one at 8 o'clock at night. It is too far to commute from London. So if you do decide to come to Plymouth, you actually, ideally stay in Plymouth. Um, we are a university who was founded quite a long time ago as the Royal School of Navigation, and that was back in 1868. So the everything that is marine is very much in our roots and in our blood, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But as I said, this is where we were founded, or as what we were founded, and we received a full university status back in 1992.
Mhm.
And that makes us a new or a modern university. You might know that there is this difference, or that people tend to make the difference between old and modern universities. So everything which is post 1992 would be a modern university, and we are one of those modern universities. But not only when it comes to our age, but also I think very much when it comes to our approach to teaching, our
Yeah.
approach to research. When you go around campus, you will see state-of-the-art facilities. It's very modern. So it's quite a nice, fresh, modern place to study and to research as well. You
Excellent.
ask about, sorry, the
Uh,
size? Yeah,
about the number of students, yeah.
yeah, of course. We have just under 20,000 students on campus. We have many more students enrolled all over the world, but on campus in Plymouth, it's just under 20,000. About between 12 and 15% of those students would come from abroad. They come from over 100 different countries. So coming
Yeah.
back to the location, they found their way to Plymouth, although not being on the London Tube line, which is quite nice. And we have a healthy mix between undergraduate and postgraduate students. So again, about 15% of our students would be postgraduates. They would be studying either taught programs, taught
Hmm.
master programs, or they would be doing research programs, which would be the PhDs. So it's a very nice, healthy mix between students from all walks of life, all ages, but also from, as I said, many different countries in the world.
Excellent. What program can students study at the university? Like summer course? Do you have any summer course? Undergraduate? What subject are the popular? Yeah, I mean, I know Plymouth is famous with the shipping for the shipping industry, but it's not only shipping industry with the logistics, many areas. Yeah, and the postgraduate courses, and of course the most important things is placement options.
Yeah.
Do you have undergraduate placement options?
Yeah.
Could you a little bit tell us about that?
Yes, I mean, you mentioned the summer courses, so let's start with those. Unfortunately, obviously this year we're not going to be running any summer courses, but in normal years we would have summer courses between 4 and 6 weeks in the areas of business, but also in arts, humanities, when it would normally be students or current students who join us for the summer courses. So it would not be like 16, 17-year-old students. It would normally be students who are enrolled at other universities or just about to go to university and want to get a taste of what Plymouth is like. Yeah. And then when it comes to the course portfolio, both on undergraduate and postgraduate level, you will see that we offer degrees all across our faculties. So we have a faculty of arts, humanities and business. And as you would expect, as from the title, everything that's got to do with the arts. So art design, architecture, performing arts, humanities, English history, and then things like business, marketing, shipping, of course, would be in there as well. International relations, politics, all of that would be taught in that particular faculty. So that is one of our 3 faculties. The other one would be the Faculty of Health, and in the Faculty of Health you find everything that's got to do with medicine and with health professions. So we do have our medicine programs in there, our 5-year undergraduate doctor medicine program, dentistry. We also have biomedical in there, nursing, health professions. Health professions, for those who don't know what it is, are things like physiotherapy, optometry, that kind of thing. But we also have nursing in there, in psychology. So it's a great mix of programs in the Faculty of Health. And again, we would be teaching all of those programs on undergraduate and postgraduate level as well. And last but not least, our 3rd big faculty is the Faculty of Science and Engineering, where you find everything from the applied sciences, like biology, environmental sciences, chemistry, but also environmental sciences. And then we have all the engineerings, so mechanical, civil, electric engineering. What we don't have is chemical engineering. I know this is quite popular with some Turkish students, but we don't have the chemical engineering. But we have robotics as well. Again, this is something that is quite interesting for our Turkish students. And again, all of that on undergraduate and postgraduate level, and up to PhD, of course, as well. So this is basically what we consist of subject-wise, and as you can see, it's a very comprehensive university. So
very much.
Yeah, yes. That is a lot that you can choose from. And just one thing, I'm going to mention it, and that is coming back to the marine at this stage. And I'm not just going to talk about the shipping, but generally speaking, we've got the biggest marine institute in the UK on campus, and that involves people doing marine biology, ocean sciences, naval architecture, but also shipping logistics. So that is the one area where we probably are very, very well known for all over the world when it is the marine. Most of our undergraduate programs have a placement. Now that placement tends to be an optional placement. That means between our undergraduate degrees are normally 3-year programs. There are some exceptions where you have the integrated master programs, but they are normally 3-year programs. And between the second and the final year, there is the options for most students to do a placement. Some of the placements are paid, not always a fortune, so don't expect to save a lot of money. But nevertheless, it does give you the option to have some professional work experience. So it's not about making coffee and doing that kind of thing. It really means that you're going into the industry and you actually get a proper work experience. One of our programs, that's the international business one, that's the one where it is compulsory. So every student who's doing our BSc international business, they must do a placement. And the placements can be,
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, the placements can be either in the UK or they can be abroad. So, you know, we had one student, I think, doing marine biology, and they were counting tortoises on the Greek islands for 9 months. I think this is quite a nice thing to do. So yeah, so it can be, you know, it can be either in the UK or it can be abroad as well.
I was going to ask you, how do you organize the placement? Do you, as a university, do you find a place, or does student find a place?
Right. Now, what we are trying to do is we are trying to prepare the students as well as we can for a real, you know, work, for real life, for a real working life as well. So, and as you know as well as I do, no one in real life comes and gives you a job.
No.
So what we do have is we have placement teams in our faculties. We have a list of employers who take our placement students usually, and then we advise students on how to go about and apply for placements. So we help them step by step. But at the end of the day, it will be up to them to actually secure the placement, because as I said, this is much more like real life is like, is that you have to go through the entire application process. There is support there, but we do not guarantee that the student definitely gets this placement.
Okay. When you say medical school, because as far as I remember, Plymouth, one of the rare universities who has got medical department giving the medicine placement. Could you tell us what is the limit for international student? How many places do you have for international student? Do you have?
Yeah, it is. It is not the largest medical school to start off with. And of course, because we have our contracts with the National Health Service, they will dictate us how many international students we can take. So it's not the university not wanting international students. It's got to do with the placements that the National Health Sector can give us. And it is around 12 international students. It's not loads, I know that, but it's also not that easy, as you know, to get into medicine. And also to have the finances to support yourself through your studies. So the 12 is actually quite realistic when it comes to the demand as well, and also the affordability by international students.
Okay, excellent. Of course, we know Plymouth University has got several accreditation, but could you a little bit tell us quickly main accreditation? Do you have all your does all your program or any of your program has got accreditation?
Yeah, right. Well, as you know, Ali, so the quality of teaching and the quality of research sort of is overseen by the government itself. So there is this like an umbrella term of the Quality Assurance Agency and all of that basically makes sure that we as an institution offer quality teaching and quality research to our students. So that goes without saying. In addition to that, most of our programs will have the professional accreditation from professional bodies. Now, students might wonder why it is important to mention it. But of course, if you, as a Turkish student, let's say study architecture in the UK, and you want to keep your options open of studying of working as an architect in the UK or in Turkey, you must follow a route which is accredited by the professional body if you want to work here in the UK. And also what we find, it is much easier for students then if they do go back into their home country to get their degree transferred into their own system if they have followed a professional accredited program.
Yeah.
So when you look at our business programs, when you're looking at accounting, for instance, of course that will be accredited by the ACCA, which also means that you get exemptions if you want to become a chartered accountant. It means you don't have to pay and sit for additional exams. The same is for the Chartered Institute of Marketing. So if you're studying a marketing degree, it will be accredited by by CIM, the Chartered Marketing Institute. So all of those programs would normally be accredited. Engineering, of course, as well. If you're doing an engineering degree, your aim is to become a chartered engineer. So the program that you study should be accredited by the Engineering Institute. And again, all of our programs, the BA Eng and MH programs, are fully accredited. I think it's very important to mention it because, as I said, education systems vary so much from one country to another. And to have this independent body, which is the professional bodies for the different subjects, to have those actually looking at the programs, at the teaching, at the content, at the outcomes, and say, yes, it is good for us, good enough.
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
It's very important for students and for parents to have that kind of assurance.
Absolutely. Therefore, I'm asking because I always recommended students, whichever program you are going to study, check it if they have accreditation, because accreditation is important. Because that accreditation gives you industry idea, because they are working with the industry. Whatever you learn, it should be accompanying with the industry.
Exactly.
Okay. What about the entry requirements? I know it's changing program to program, but just general one for undergraduate and postgraduate. What is your requirements?
Okay. Well, of course, there's those students that follow the LISE, so the Turkish curriculum, and then there's those who are doing the IB or the French school, the French bac. So I'm going to be talking about the students who are studying the Turkish national curriculum. And as you know as well, you have 1 year less of teaching than our A-level students would have, which makes it sometimes hard for students to come with a Turkish qualification and join a British university, which is why our entry requirements are relatively strict. And we do not have, like Turkey, one big exam where everyone has to write the entrance exams for universities. We don't have that. So all we have is really the LISE, the final transcripts that we can go by when we assess whether a student is suitable for a specific degree or not. So we do accept students for some of our programs into the first year of our undergraduate degree. The best thing, if you're unsure whether the program that you're interested in sort of falls into that category or not, would be to check with me or check with the international office. We can tell you that. And there we would normally be looking at around 75 to 80% or a 4 out of 5 from your LISE. Of course, if you want to study something like engineering, then you should have studied physics and you should have studied mathematics. So if you don't have those subjects or you don't have the right grades, then students would normally be asked to do a foundation, which we offer here on campus, and we have it for all of our programs with the exception of medicine and dentistry. We do have foundations in place, and that really is just bridging the gap between the Turkish system and the UK system. But as I said, if you are a very strong student, or if a very strong student with the right subjects, then we will consider them coming into the first year if they got approximately a 4 out of 5 or around 75%. Postgraduate, postgraduate students, again, we are looking at the kind of institution where you've taken your undergraduate degree, and so depending on that, on the institution where you've taken your undergraduate, your bachelor's degree, we would be asking between a 2.4 and a 3 from your GPA for a taught master's degree. Some of them might be slightly higher for those when you see on the English entry requirements. If you see a 2-1, which is the UK classification, then there might be slightly higher entry requirements. But as a rule of thumb, between a 2.4 and a 3, you're on the safe side.
Excellent. Just I want to say, I want to give small information in Turkish to our followers, because you said Turkish high school is less than UK education, because as we know, UK education is 13 years and Turkish education is 12 years. So I need to explain. Sevgili arkadaşlar, İngiliz eğitim sisteminde öğrenci liseden mezun olduğunda 13 yıl okumuş oluyor. Türkiye'deki bir öğrenci liseden mezun olduğunda 12 yıl okumuş oluyor. Anna'nın söylediği 1 yıllık fark buradan kaynaklanıyor. Ama yine bölümüne göre, üniversite okuduğunuz okula göre üniversitenin giriş şartları değişebiliyor. What about the tuition fees for undergraduate and postgraduate?
For undergraduate and postgraduate tuition fees, we only have one band, with the exception of medicine. Medicine is always something special. But some of your students and you yourself will have come across some universities that make a difference between lab programs and classroom-based programs.
Yes.
We currently don't make a differentiation there. So our undergraduate degrees are currently at £13,800 per year, and the postgraduate taught programs, or the master programs, they are £14,800. That's for 2020 entry. Those tuition fees are reviewed on an annual basis, so it might be a slight increase, or even if you're lucky, a slight decrease. Doesn't happen too often though in reality. But yeah, so always look onto the website what the latest news is on tuition fees, but it's not going to change dramatically for 2021.
What about the scholarships? Do you have special scholarship for Turkey?
We don't have country-specific scholarships. We have a very good, I believe it's a very fair and a very good scholarship offer at the university, but we don't do it according to country, but we do it according to academic standards. Of course, I could have said to you now, yes, we've got a special Turkish scholarship, and tomorrow I'm on the phone to someone in South Africa and say, yes, we've got a special South African scholarship. No.
Why not? They give scholarship to everybody.
Exactly. No.
Make them believe they are special. Special. Why not?
We're just going to ask £2,000 more tuition fees, and then we're going to give a scholarship to everyone.
This is another things.
I know. No, we actually try to make, as I said, we actually try to make it fair and also easy to use. Now, the scholarships that I'm going to talk about are for all international students. So for those who are paying the full international fee, as you know, UK students pay a little bit less than international students. So this is basically for those students who pay the full fee. And it is for the 2 faculties, which is the Faculty of Science and Engineering and all of our programs in business and international relations and in law. Not for medicine and medical related. Some of them have other scholarships. So we offer scholarships both on undergraduate and postgraduate level. And they're both 2-tier ones. So the automatic one, which is for undergraduate students, £2,000 off the tuition fees, and for postgraduate students, £2,000 off as well, if they exceed our entry requirements. For undergraduate students, if they are better than 60% of their grades in the first year, they continue receiving 10% of a discount of the tuition fees. If they are 70% GPA, then they get 20% of their tuition fees. So it's not just to get the students in, but it's also trying to encourage you to stay with students. And now I've got even better news. And the better news is that we have an excellent scholarship. For this one, students need to apply once they have applied to the university and they hold an offer. And that is 50% off the tuition fees, both for undergraduate and postgraduate. And again, for undergraduate students, if they achieve over 70% in the first and second year, they can continue receiving that scholarship throughout the entire duration of their studies, as long as they remain excellent students. Now, those are excellent scholarships. As you know, 50% is very generous.
Very much.
And so students have to be outstanding in order to receive them. One other scholarship I'm going to mention is our psychology scholarship, because that's very generous as well. For both our undergraduate and postgraduate programs that we offer, we currently offer a £4,000 scholarship for students who meet the entry requirements. So that is, again, quite a generous offer.
It is almost, if any student gets this 2 scholarships, they can almost study same like UK students, you know, their fees will be equivalent to UK students, which is very good, very fantastic. Thank you very much. What about the accommodation and the price? We of course, we've got halls of residence, but we also have private accommodation. Everything, just to say, is in walking distance. We are a city centre campus, so wherever you live, normally you would be in 5 to 10 minutes walking distance to the study facilities and research facilities. Living on campus will always be a bit more expensive than living off campus. So our on-campus accommodation starts at around £100 per week, including all bills. And they go up to about £150 per week. 150, you would have an ensuite. You always have your own room, no question. You always have your own room. But if you are at the lower end of the price range, then you share a bathroom with other students. And you always share a kitchen. We don't have catered accommodation as such. We expect our students to learn the life skill of cooking. We've learned our lesson, because we are now offering a food package through our outlets, cafes on campus. So students who really can't face cooking, there is of course the option to be fed, just not in your room, in your hall. So normally I would say it's between £450 and £600 a month for your accommodation. And on top of that, you will have other living expenses. It makes us one of the cheapest places to live in the UK as a student city. Looks like that. I think a student can maintain their student life about with £1,000 a month.
Oh yeah, less than
easily.
that.
Less than that. Yeah.
I mean, I would. Yeah, if you got £1,000 a month, you would be living like a, like a little king. You wouldn't cook for yourself at all. No, in reality, £800 a month is very generous. In reality, as I said, if you're living on campus, which tends to be in the first year, then you have to budget for a little bit more. If you're living off campus in the following years, and also as postgraduate students, they don't want to mingle with the youngsters. They again you're looking at around £800 a month if you're off campus.
Excellent. Okay, once students have arrived at Plymouth University, what they can do? Could you a little bit tell us about the club and social activities, part-time work opportunities, all those things?
Of course, I can looking at my age, there's a slight distance between my student life times and the current student life times, but being surrounded by students all the time, there's a little bit of a glimpse that I get from their student life. Now, we have about 160 clubs, societies on campus. It changes every year, it changes every month. So there's everything that you possibly could think of that you want to do. And if there is nothing, if your specific interest hasn't got a club, then you just make a new one and you will get support from the Students' Union. So we've got state-of-the-art gym on campus as well, where it's relatively cheap to get to. We have Olympic-sized pool, not on campus, but in the city, where students do have free access a few times during the week as well. So we work very closely together with them. That's the Life Centre. And as I said, it's a great variety of sports and societies that students can get to. If you want to have the specific details, go onto the website, the Students' Union, and you have the whole list. And it's everything from beginners to professionals, really, especially when it comes to sporting activities. And apart from that, student life, as I said earlier, we are a city centre campus. So our campus is not tucked away somewhere in the nice green fields, which might be very beautiful if you love nature, but it's right in the city centre. So basically, students are where everything is happening. So there's a lot of cafes, restaurants, clubs, everything is there. And again, you wouldn't need to take a taxi or public transport. You just walk, and it's very safe to walk as well.
Yeah, excellent. What about the virtual open days? Do you have any virtual open days for offer holders or who has been thinking to study 2021?
Yeah, if you go onto our website right now, you will be finding something right on the opening page, which is called Plymouth On Demand. So there is a mix between pre-recorded talks of academics about the subjects, about their programs that they are offering. There's a university open, there's a tour, the virtual tour as well, which actually is really fantastic, I have to say. I'm pretty impressed with it. And then there's also the option to register for a list of live chats, live discussions, Q&A sessions with academics, and they are being held all through the end of May and the beginning of June as well. So all you need to do there, let's say you're interested in psychology, you then register for one of the psychology sessions, as you would do if you were in a physical open day, and then you drop in. There's an academic who's teaching on the course, and they will be there to answer all the questions that you possibly could have.
Excellent. Already past 33 minutes. We talked 30 minutes, but 3 minutes already passed, and I have two questions more.
Yeah.
If you can answer quickly, I will appreciate that. What about the entry requirements for English?
Yeah.
Did you make it loose a little bit, flexible a little bit? Like, do you accept IELTS indicator or home-based TOEFL password?
It is, all of those are a little bit difficult, as you know, because what we have done with regards to the IELTS is normally the IELTS has a 2-year validity, as you know. And so sometimes we have students who are just outside of the 2-year validity period. So we are more flexible there. We also accept for direct entry into the first year, for 2020 entry, the Duolingo, which you can do from home as well. And we have thought that, or found this to be actually the safest and most realistic sort of the things which are on offer at the moment, because we do have our duty of care to the students. We need to make sure that the English is up to scratch, but also that their visa is not being refused because the visa officer or immigration officer says, "Oh no, I don't believe that your English actually is that good." So, so at the moment, as things are, as I said, we are accepting the Duolingo. We have a bit more flexibility when it comes to the IELTS validity, the period of validity, and then other things we can always do on a one-to-one basis. Does that answer your question? Yeah,
it does. It does. Thank you very much. Final question. We have heard today from the news, Cambridge University decided online education. For 2020.
For the first semester,
First semester or whole year? Because news says whole year, but I
thought it was only the first semester in Manchester as well. At least that's what I woke up to, the news that I woke up to.
Actually, Manchester, I had an interview with the Manchester. Manchester said they will do online only with the big seminars, like tutorials, if the classroom, if the number of students more than 100 or something like that. But the classroom education will continue, they said. But today news is something interesting, what puts in my mind. Because in order student to study online, it should be approved by UKVI. Otherwise, they will be absent. And if it is less than 80%, then they will have a problem. This is my question, but anyway, it's not our question.
I believe, I mean, I'm not going to, I can't go into the details of UKVI and what they're doing at the moment.
Of course.
I know there has been some more flexibility when it comes to attendance and all of, because current students are affected exactly the same way.
Yeah, but for current students, they extend their flexibility until end of May.
Yeah,
but they didn't say anything after the end of May.
I don't
Anyway.
think anyone is saying anything about what's happening at after.
No. This was my question. This
Yeah.
was my question actually. What is the Plymouth University's A plan, B plans if something happen, if the travels ban still continue, if they can't travel, if they come, but the situation is not losing?
There is a there are several groups of highly paid professionals within the university at the moment who are all getting grey hair, I think, over this. So there are senior management teams that obviously have been put together to discuss all those different options.
Yeah.
Of course, the plan A for every single institution, or at least for every single member of staff within us, but I would say for all of us as UK universities, is that we can go ahead with a September start. Maybe it's slightly late September start, because of course if you need a visa, then there's the question, even if the travel ban's lifted, can you get a visa in time? So one of the areas we are looking at is to have a little bit of more flexibility with the starting time of students. So if we have a physical September start, so let's say the last enrollment would normally be, let's say, the 27th of September, so that we say, okay, we might extend that a little bit. For those students who simply cannot get to us earlier, but who want to come. So this is the one option that we are looking at. The plan B would be that we are doing the first term online, and then
physical education.
So the physical teaching then starting in January. And then the third option that we are looking at is, and there again with several options, so the third option that we are looking at is starting some of our programs in January, for especially for international students. But then the question is, will they finish in September in order then to go on if we want to join the normal crowd of students, or do they carry on until the January, December basically, and then graduate in January? Ideal case would be in that case, of course, that we are teaching over the summer and students then in September are either graduating or picking up with other students. So we're looking at all three different options.
All three options. Okay, thank you very much, Anna. It was lovely to chat with you. We got all the lovely information about the Plymouth University and the COVID-19 suspensions, everything. Thank you very much for attendance to our program. Have a nice day. Stay safe. And have a healthy life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.